Well, thank you, Mr. Bojok, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning and to see so many friendly faces in the crowd. To Mr. Romanov, the General Manager of Укроборонпром, welcome to you and all of the industrialists you've brought here today. I want to start by congratulating Ukraine for organizing this Defense Industry Day and the one that they will hold in Capellan tomorrow. We recognize the important effort by Ukraine and Укроборонпром to showcase your transforming defense capabilities. 3 years ago, as Mr. Bojok just referred to, life was very different here in Europe and in Ukraine. We all felt that we were living in secure territories, and it seemed that we could build our future in a secure and safe environment. The annexation of Crimea by Russia is the first time that a European country has seized territory by force since World War II. And this is a crisis for Ukraine, but has also shaken the European security architecture as well. And Russia continues to violently destabilize eastern Ukraine. Ukraine continues to withstand ongoing security challenges posed by this aggression, and it's therefore even more remarkable that in these difficult times you're implementing comprehensive reforms, including those in the security and defense sector and the defense industry as well. Reforming armed forces is not an easy exercise in general, but reforming the forces while they're engaged in conflict is even more challenging. Yet the problems faced in this conflict only underscore the need for reform. In spite of these challenges, the Ukrainian government is making remarkable progress. NATO remains firm in its support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, and we're supporting Ukraine's reform efforts and its refusal to yield its sovereignty and independence, including through support to the reform of the security and defense sector, and implicitly that of the defense industry. As stated in the National Security Strategy of Ukraine, in the Military Doctrine of Ukraine, and in the Strategic Defense Bulletin of Ukraine, the defense reform is aimed at developing national capabilities that meet Euro-Atlantic standards by 2020. In that vein, NATO has been assisting Ukraine from the beginning of the crisis, and indeed long before. Already in 1991, when Ukraine joined the North Atlantic Cooperation Council, and later in 1994, when they joined the Partnership for Peace program, and even more recently with the signing of the Charter on a Distinctive Partnership in 1997. NATO's cooperation with Ukraine has only deepened over time. At the Warsaw Summit, our heads of state and government endorsed a comprehensive assistance package for Ukraine in a meeting of the NATO-Ukraine Commission. And through our advisory mission in Kiev, supporting comprehensive reform of the security and defense sector, the trust funds in command and control, cyber defense, logistics, military career transition, and military medical rehabilitation, and recently adding on trust funds for explosive ordnance disposal and counter-improvised explosive devices, we're providing essential support for Ukraine's ability to transform and provide for her own defense. Ukraine is committed to meeting NATO standards for their defense forces, including democratic civilian oversight, and to reaching full interoperability with allied forces by 2020. But adopting NATO standards is not just a technical exercise. It's a fundamental change in mindset and the way that institutions act and interact. Civilian control of the armed forces and democratic oversight of the security and defense sector are essential, interconnected principles shared by the NATO allies. These are principles that Ukraine must embed irreversibly in their own institutional setup. And Ukraine's leaders have set an ambitious course toward Euro-Atlantic values and standards, and they're delivering on that commitment. But so must NATO. Allies will continue to support Ukraine through NATO and bilaterally, and we will further improve our coordination to make the most of the resources that we can provide to Ukraine. The security and independence of Ukraine is vital for Euro-Atlantic security, and Ukraine has long been one of NATO's closest partners. Now is the time to make Ukrainian defense forces and Ukrainian democratic institutions truly fit for purpose, in line with NATO standards. So today's Defense Industry Day serves to increase NATO community awareness of Ukraine's defense industry capabilities. I encourage you to attend the presentations by the Ukrainian experts on relevant capabilities such as strategic airlift, armored vehicles, and marine engineering, to see the passion, expertise, and quality they bring to their work. I believe you will not fail to be impressed. So with that, I wish Ukraine and Укроборонпром a very successful dialogue and a satisfying interaction with the many representatives from NATO and allied nations here today. Thank you very much.